Alright guys, I have to do some errands, get some stuff done today, some work. Anyway, I wanted to do a small intro. I will discuss more on this subject down the road. The title is that CSA happens in church, foster care. It happens. I know 3 people that have been adopted and they grew up in foster care. One in an orphanage until he was about, I think, 15, 14, 15. Things happen that you think would not, but it does. So child sexual abuse does occur in foster care and in church. Not just the Catholic Church. People are so focused on, a pope or the Catholic Church. It's not just Catholics. It's not just altar boys that get abused. Not just a priest or a pope. This happened in other churches. It happens in Baptist, Lutheran, Methodist, and so on. I discussed my first channel of my abuse and what happened. And when I was 17 and I came out to my parents. Well, my mother first. My mother went through some things, and the time my father found out, a lot was going on in my life. And so my grandma passed away January of 1997. And my grandpa died in August of the same year. So in those months, he was slowly getting worse and dying, and not one thing was done. I got married February. So my grandma passed away a week prior to my birthday of turning 18. The funeral was the day after my birthday. I was 18. I was legal. I got married in February to my first ex-husband. And the abuse and issues, a lot going on, which pressured me and forced me into marriage young at 18. So, he died in August. So, at this time I'm 18. I got married in February on Valentine's Day. And these months that were there, that he was, getting worse and dying, my mother did not do what she should have done. I cannot talk to her. She's passed on. I can't confront her or my grandfather. But I had some stories I thought that were true. Some missing puzzle pieces. A lot of anger toward my father for years. And last September, I found out what happened. My dad does have guilt of some things. My mother, I'm sure before her death, that she did. My mother was a victim of, the abuse, brainwashed. She was groomed. So, I cannot answer for my mother. I don't hate my mother. Of course, not happy, my mother did not call the cops and press charges against my grandfather. My aunt was not in her right mind to take care of my grandfather. My uncle was, of course, already gone, passed on. So my mother felt like it was her job to take care of her dying father. She just watched her mother pass away. And now here's her father that's dying, a pedophile that hurt her. It's really hard to judge her. It's a pro and con thing. Here's someone that was abused 50s and the 60s, and her dad's dying. Her daughter comes out to her as a victim of abuse, and but she felt like she was the one to take care of my grandfather. Again, I cannot answer for my mother. I do agree things, these things should have been done. But I harbor no hate toward my father or mother. I wished that the right thing was done, but again, people don't know what happened behind closed doors. I cannot give anyone answers when I cannot confront my mother. So, anyway, being pushed into marriage at a young age. Yes, I loved him, but I think at that time, a lot was going on, and it did, pressure me to marriage. I had no idea back then that a lot of the issues were from child abuse. So, I'm older now, and I am seeing things that make sense from the past. I can't change things. It is what it is. You go forward. The only person that can say, I know what it's like. I was that girl. I am that girl. And people that shout, get over it. Let me explain this to you, that it does not matter how old you get. Some days are better. You can heal and go forward. It never leaves you, though. For me, it's made me stronger. Yes, I am still healing, and I'm going forward. When my church, my home church, I grew up in Pompano near Parkland, Florida. Margate, Cocoa, whatever it's called, whatever. I don't know, whatever. I'm tired. So, whatever. You got Coral Springs, you got Fort Lauderdale, an hour from that is Miami. You got West Palm Beach, whatever, little area. My home church, when time, I guess the time happened, when my father told, someone in church, at this point, I do believe I was married. It was either probably February, March, my dad told someone in church. Even though I'm 18 and I'm married. yes, it should have been reported. The church found out, and I don't know. I was not in the church. I was not there at that church when this was discussed to the pastor and the cop in the church. I never knew the missing pieces. I didn't really know what happened until this past September. I've discussed the issue with my father and my daughter. Things were discussed to authorities and the counselor and the state of Tennessee. It was brought forth. It was discussed. It was dealt with. My father and me and my kids are having baby steps. What I do with my father, where I go, is my business. Again, I never accused my father of rape or molestation. My daughter wrote a letter. She was confused about some things. And so my daughter was the one. Now, could be the word accused. It could be, I think my grandpa did this. I'm not quite sure. That is why people were called in. It was dealt with. Okay? The video that some women keep playing of this Shangy show, it does show evidence. You do hear me say, I am not the one that accused my father. My daughter said things. She was confused. Things were dealt with. It's been over now. We are trying to be a family. My father, as of yesterday, we are discussing about, him going to therapy, and discussing the things of my childhood. My father, was a victim. A small child was beaten by an alcoholic. I never knew this until recently. So, yeah, I had two parents that went through shit. Men have pride. When men are abused, either they're beaten or sexual, they have pride and they don't want to discuss their abuse. And that's why it's so important to have awareness, not just women, of this whole Me Too movement. Men, boys should be discussed. They should be helped because they get abused, of course, too. Like my mother, my father was probably brainwashed. I'm not sure about being groomed, but my mother was. So, I guess from their point of view, it was very hard to hear about what I went through. My mom really thought my grandfather was a changed person in therapy, that he was not touching any people, saying sexual things. My mother was very much brainwashed and groomed. In the 50s and 60s, in small towns in those days, you didn't have people discussing sexual abuse. A very much taboo issue. So, when it comes to religion or the church, things do get hidden. Again, people want to focus on just Catholics. This is not, of course, true. I was raised Baptist. Again, here, I have questions I can't give answers to. And one part of this, it's easier, or it would be easier, if my grandfather and mom were alive to confront, discuss, and put him behind bars. But he's passed on. She's passed on. People think they know, but they don't. People want to cherry pick my story of what happened to me, and they want to twist it and contort. And their opinion, that's very ignorant of me, they want to convince people that their opinion is the truth. I have the truth. I'm the one that endured all this nightmare for 10 years. I can say this. If my kids come to me and something like this happens, yes, shit would get dealt with. And the issue, again, my daughter was dealt with. You all can spin your narrative saying, well, it was molestation. Well, according to the authorities and the counseling and the state of Tennessee, the issue was dealt with and it's been over with. So I'm moving forward with my daughters, my father, his new wife, and we are again taking steps. It's not easy. My own father has a hard time discussing my abuse. But he is trying to go forward in counseling, hopefully, and again, small steps. It's never easy to discuss your own abuse. My father has never come out about his abuse to any counselor, any therapist, or to a pastor. So it's a lot for him to go through. It takes time. I have friends that are in other countries. I have 3 in Scotland. I have 4 in the UK. I got 3 in Paris, 2 in Denmark, Switzerland. International friends that keep telling me, they're not ready to come forward about their abuse. And that's fine. One person did tell me recently, I can't tell my story yet. Or I may never be able to, Sharon. But you going out here being courageous and discussing your story, helping others, it helps me. In some way, you are helping me and telling my story. And that's what I'm doing. My support group on Facebook, been a year now. I have to update it, but there's no judgments because on my support group, because people that have cut themselves, an issue with drugs, child abuse, whatever, they're on there. They have got a hold of me on Facebook, on private messages, and behind the scenes, of course, I've had phone calls. You don't know behind closed doors. And this whole BS that this shit only happens in Catholic churches. It's not true. You'll be very much surprised to know how much crap can happen behind closed doors and churches, foster care. There's been reports of the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, church functions but a lot of people don't discuss it. That's the difference. And that is what should be changed. This is why I do what I do too. Awareness. The attention is on this. My story and what I do is not about, oh, I want attention, look at me. The attention is for awareness of, yes, what I went through, but why am I doing this? People know why I'm doing this. They want to twist the narrative around saying, oh, you want attention and blah, blah, blah. You really think a child from 6 to 17 deserves this? They want attention. They ask for this. And someone thinks because I don't remember the shirt, the color that he wore, that I'm lying about my abuse. Again, not one thing of my abuse is a lie. I'm not blaming things on my abuse. A lot of the issues I've had to deal with, the issues I've gone through, a lot does connect to the abuse. But I've been responsible in my actions because people think that it's not a good enough apology. Don't matter. I apologized behind the scenes to certain people, and that's it. So many apologies that people owe me for calling me a liar of the abuse, victim shaming, and I'm going to say one more thing about this issue. A nickname, a pet name, someone is a playful thing to poke fun as friends. These nicknames are not the same as a grooming nickname that someone gives you to groom you and brainwash you as a child to sexually hurt you or sexually verbal abuse you. The people out there that are addressing me with these names is sick and disgusting. My name is Sharon, not these names. Okay? Now, my parody was Shane, not personality, but parody. This does not make me mental. It was very humorous, and people loved Shane. Even the haters loved Shane. But nicknames that my grandfather gave to me, and yes, there's 5 names. When you have people that claim they're survivors of CSA are addressing me by my grooming name and laughing, sick people. Who does this? A big difference. A huge difference. A playful name I can joke about and laugh with. There is nothing funny about addressing me. The nicknames you're calling me that my grandpa gave to me as a child. These things could trigger me. I'm not the same person as I was last July. But others could be really, really triggered if someone addressed them for months and torment, harass, and stalk of these names. It's not funny. It's not hilarious. It's not a damn joke. People could be triggered and things happen like suicide, drugs, going crazy. If you're really survivors of CSA, you know I'm not full of crap and this happens. So why are so-called survivors doing this? That's not funny at all. It just really shows how sick people are by addressing me by these names. A sexual abuse grooming name is not the same thing. Trust me, it's not. Somebody somewhere can really hurt themselves. And all of a sudden, they want to back off and say, nope, we didn't do this. Yes, you did. I can cover the name, the church issue. I went through all this crap. So, I had one slideshow that discussed about the issue, whatever. But, like I said, do some research. Look it up. There are facts that show the Catholic Church. But again, it's not just in the Catholic Church. I wish people would really stop being blind and wake up and realize this crap happens other places. Foster care. My friend Matt, that you've heard me announce before, adopted, was abused in foster care. Like, really bad, actually. And so I want to make the awareness that this happens. Do the research. Stop being ignorant. Don't twist a narrative calling me a liar. Do the research and look it up. It's all there. This crap is happening. In the home, in church, a friend's house, family member's house, foster care, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, church functions. These things happen. The ones that want to ignore it, you're just blocking it out. Ignoring it is not going to make it go away. I can't ignore my abuse. I can't ignore what happened to me. So I'm facing it. I am healing. I am dealing with my abuse. So when you choose to ignore these things, you yourself you're being ignorant. Well, I know it's there, but I want to ignore it. And maybe I will forget. You want to know how many years I tried to forget? And at one point, it was blocked in my head. It was blocked. Until one day, my brother, in code word, did what he did. Someone in my state of mind could have went crazy, hurt themselves. You don't sit there and out someone's abuse. Then, when the person comes forward, you call them a liar. How the hell would you know? How the hell would anyone know what you've been through but you? They wouldn't know. They're not you. If you've been ever abused, you're the one that went through the hell. I went through hell. The important thing is to face this. Friends you trust, people you trust, whatever, talk to them. Go to a therapist. Go to a counselor's help. Therapists can help you. It's who you trust, you know. But even therapists and counselors cannot always be trusted. Some people have been, what's the word, violated by some therapists. When you are a survivor of CSA, one of the many signs that you can show is trust issues. So, when you have a hard time trusting people, therapists, a counselor is right there with that. And when someone violates that trust, then what do you do? People in church you trust. What do you do when that happens, right? A family member violates you. Foster parent, Boy Scout leader, Girl Scouts. What then? This happens, and people need to stop ignoring this. Oh, block it out, ignore it, just don't even discuss it. That's wrong. You cannot help yourself if you don't say something. Break this silence, because when you do, it's worth it. It's not easy, but it's worth it in the end. I did not deserve what happened to me. Other kids did not deserve what happened to them. The only thing you can do now is talk to someone you trust. Take those small steps and go forward. I've helped many people and states, their city, county, countries. I have showed them the hotlines. I have showed them where to go, who to talk to, you know, whatever. And I've helped them. I wish I had somebody as a child that helped me. I didn't have this, but I have what I have now. So I'm trying to change things and help people and continue to help them and keep going, tell my truth. When you don't say something, it builds up and builds up and builds up. That chain gets heavier. But at the same time, I understand why people don't come forward. So many haters out there. So many haters that want to blame you for the abuse. Well, it happened so many years ago. Just get over it. You will never just get over it. At some point, the flashbacks come. Nightmares come. Getting over it is not by ignoring it. I think one day, this one person that I really respect, I hope this one person can come out and discuss, her abuse. I know it will help people. I know it would. But, again, you can't force someone. If it helps you to write down your abuse, express your pain, what you went through. Get a journal, write all this crap down, and get it out there. There's always someone watching and listening to your story. You never know who you might help. I'm not ashamed of what I went through. A long time I was. Discussing your abuse is not attention seeking. You are trying to find people like you that are also survivors, and you want to heal with those people. And because, a platform is YouTube for me to discuss these things, does not mean I have no life. This is an outlet for awareness of CSA. For me, a similar issue having a support group. I've met tons and tons of survivors, and like I said, it helps me go forward. Again, when you discuss your story, you never know who's watching and listening to your story, and you might help that person. I think about my friend Nadia that passed away and others. Behind closed doors, you just don't know. Everyone is going through their own hell, especially with abuse. People say, again, forget it, ignore it, get over it, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not that simple. If some people have been in counseling for years and they claim they're over it, I don't call them a liar. But it will always be with you. Maybe they're better and to a point where, it won't bother them too much, I guess. But at some point, flashbacks, nightmares do happen. You're at peace with it, they say. Okay, good. I hope people are at peace with their abuse. But at some point, the nightmares will come back. The flashbacks will come back. So, get someone you trust. Discuss your issues with them. People really need to wake up. The world has changed, becoming more evil with things, and people want to sit there and act ignorant and ignore things. That's not how things happen. You cannot progress, you cannot change things when you're silent. Those chains need to be broken. If you need help, get someone you trust. There's me. I know others that can help you too. There's hotlines you can, call. If you trust your pastor, if you go to church. Also use common sense. Go by also your gut. Not one child deserves to go through this hell. If people are mad or jealous that I've come forward, that's on them. You know, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud that I came forward, and I have no regrets. The regret I would have is not saying anything. You're not going to help yourself by just wondering, what if? What if I came forward and said something? There's no shame in this. People are here to help you and tell you you're not alone. Again, you people would be very surprised to know what happens in churches behind closed doors. If you go to church and you're in those pews, right? Okay. You have no idea the person next to you, their past. The one church I went to a while back that I belonged to, after we left the church and I had moved, we found out legit information. This older guy and his wife were a couple in church for many years, and it was brought to light. This person was a photographer for a porn company, a porn site. See, again, you don't know. You don't know what's going on. Don't be so quick to judge. So I encourage survivors to come out, get help, talk to someone you trust. Don't be scared. I mean, it's kind of scary, it is, but people know what you're going through. It's small, baby steps. So, I've got to get going here, and I want, again, just say, keep going forward. Do not regret ever doing the right thing. And trust your gut. Tell your truth. You fight for what's right. And don't ever stop. Once you do, they win. You got a right to defend yourself, a right to stand up to people that shame you of what you went through. Do not ever give up. You keep going. That is what matters. So guys, I'm going to run here. Gotta go. Have a great day. Have a great night. Keep going forward. Choose love, not hate. Be kind to one another. You don't know what storm they are facing. You don't know what God has asked them to go through. You don't know what's going on. So try to be kind, people, and help them. If someone needs help, don't criticize them. Don't bash them. Don't mock them. Help them. Be a friend to them. If they need you, listen. Don't ignore them. Alright? Okay. Peace out.